Good evening. Thank you all for coming and taking time out of your busy schedules to come for senior night here at Bucksport High School. Senior night can be an exciting time of year and also can be a little bit stressful because you have a lot of questions about what next year may look like. So our goal and our plan for tonight is try and help you through that process, to talk about some of the steps that you might take and what that can look like. Okay, so there's the great thing about Bucksport is there is a lot of support and a lot of people to help you answer questions that you may have and help you take the steps that you are looking to take. Okay, so what I would like to first talk to you about is remind you to just take some time right now to be looking at, I know sometimes looking at screens during times of COVID is not what you want to do, but please try and keep an eye on the guidance Facebook page, the Golden Bucks Facebook page, and on the news Facebook social, the Bucksport High School page as well. A lot of times there's information about college visits, events that are happening at the school, and sometimes those are changing. So we try and update that frequently. So please keep an eye on that. So we're going to talk you through the different steps in the process. So my name is Heather Davis. I am the new school counselor and I cover the students with the last names that begin A through J. Stan Pelletier is the school counselor that covers students K through Z. So if your student's last name is A through K, that's me. I mean, A through J, sorry. And then K through Z is Mr. Pelletier. Ironically, our last names line up with who we cover. So that's a nice, easy way to remember it. That actually wasn't on purpose. So now that students have started their senior year and they're well into their classes and schedules, we've got that all worked out. Our next focus is to schedule with each of the seniors our senior sessions. And in those sessions, it's going to be conversations with your seniors about the whole year and what to expect. So we want to meet with everyone regardless of their plans. It's not just college-bound students. We want to hear from students if they don't know what they want to do, if they want to enter the workforce, if they want to enter the military, maybe a trade school. We're here to help through that process, okay? There's a lot of questions and it can be stressful your senior year because the number one question students get is, what are you doing next year? What are your plans next year? And sometimes that can be overwhelming. So even setting up that appointment, we're going to email students. We've had a lot of those meetings already. If you haven't had that meeting, you can expect by weekend that everyone has been reached out to have a senior meeting. And during that time, we're going to talk about things like your community service hours, how your senior year is going so far, your schedule for next semester, what questions you might have, any part of the process of filling out the common application, your financial aid form, which is called the FAFSA. Luckily, like I said, there's a lot of supports to help you with all of those things. Okay, so we just need to have a conversation to identify what support you need. Lastly, what I would like to, many of you know Cindy Lozier, who is in the guidance department. Cindy is the person, Mrs. Lozier is the person you're going to go to, okay, to sign up for college visits. Also keep your eye, the Facebook page will say what colleges are coming to visit. So if you want to speak with a representative from a college, you go let Cindy know. She has a clipboard and will sign you up, okay? Cindy also can tell you your class rank, your GPA. She also keeps track of your community service hours. If you haven't finished your community service or have a plan of what that may be, definitely want to get on that, okay? Because that needs to be done by the end of the year. So Cindy can help you with a lot of different things. She also is the person that if you are applying to colleges and they request a transcript, She is the one that sends and requests transcripts, okay? So this is a lot of information we're throwing at you tonight, but it's just to kind of give you a snapshot of what to expect. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Pelletier to talk more specifically about those steps in the process. At the end of the evening, we'll have time for questions you may have. Okay. Enjoy.
Thanks. Good evening, folks. So a couple things. In addition to our social media communications, we also have the Bucksport High School guidance webpage where a lot of information is posted. We also have things posted outside in the hallway or in the entryway to the guidance office. Like, for example, the whichever colleges happen to be visiting for the next week or couple of weeks, that information will be posted outside the guidance office. So we have a number of communication platforms in addition to the social media option. For folks who are looking to visit colleges, Mrs. Davis mentioned the colleges that we have coming here to talk to students, but we also have, there is a college fair going on this evening until 8:30. And there is, you can actually register for this via one of the links that you'll find here. That's also happening tomorrow, October 7th. This is a college fair that's being hosted at the University of Maine. If you haven't already kind of been thinking about it, then it might be kind of late to plan for it, but there are other events like this that are taking place. If it's something you're interested in learning more about, give us a call or come talk to us and we'll help you find out where you can go, what your virtual options are or your in-person options for participating in these things. Okay. I want to mention also scholarships. So we do have a number of scholarship opportunities for college-bound students available through the guidance office. Again, Mrs. Lozier has a lot of information about that. They're sort of like rolling deadlines for applications. The majority of them come due in the spring. However, there are some that are due as early as by the end of this month. So those would be some good things to kind of take a look at, familiarize yourself with if applying for scholarships is part of your plan for paying for college. Also, real quick note about SATs. The SAT test, if you wish to take or retake the SAT test, you can do that here at Bucksport High School on November 6th. The deadline for signing up for that without paying an extra fee is October 8th, so Friday. If you have questions about whether or not you should take or retake the SAT, we're happy to have those conversations with you. If you feel the need for financial assistance with that, talk to us about that also. But if you want to take it and you don't want to pay the late fee, and you want to take it here in Bucksport, you got to sign up for it via the College Board website by Friday. Okay. So the rest of my comments have to do with the free application for federal student aid, known also as the FAFSA. The FAFSA is now up and running. It began on October 1st. And so it's a good idea to fill that out sooner rather than later if you are planning to go to college or if you might go, okay? It keeps the door open. Many schools, the scholarships that they offer to students, that pot of money eventually dwindles. So if you apply and you get your foot in the door early with this process, you might get a better package than if you wait until, say, April to fill out the form, okay? You can still fill it out in April, you just won't get as much money. So something to think about. This sheet from your packet there has different options for filling out the FAFSA. My recommendation and the recommendation from the person who did our first FAFSA workshop on Monday is that you use the online version. There is also an app apparently, but she doesn't recommend that. I'm not I'm not familiar with the app, so I don't really know how that goes, but I guess the app is purportedly more commonly used by college students who are not first-time filers of the FAFSA. So like when you go to refile it as a college freshman or sophomore, the app might be the way to go for you, but the first time through might be better to just do the online version. You can also get a print version. You can call them on the phone and they'll send you forms. Nobody recommends that. Okay, so documents that you'll need to have in order to complete the FAFSA are listed here. It's also important to realize that the whole process starts by creating a federal student aid ID, okay? And that's, if you've never used the FAFSA before and you go to the website, the first thing it'll do is have you create an ID. Certain pieces of information are necessary for that. That's detailed here on this document, like a social security number, etc. This is important. Both students and parents need an FSA ID, okay? So there's a point in the process where if the student is a financial dependent, then the parents' financial data will be requested as well as the students. And so you each need your own get-in for that to sign on to that process, okay? So information like completed tax forms, W-2s, that sort of thing, okay? We do have workshops to help out for people that are uncertain about that process. The first one was Monday. We have another Bucksport High only event taking place on November 9th. I think that's a Tuesday. So if that is a sign up event, so you will need to sign up for that event. You'll need to register for that event. Indicate whether you expect to be present here at the, it'll be at the BHS library, or if you would like to participate virtually. The person who is running the workshop, her name is Nikki Vachon, and she works for the Finance Authority of Maine. Two of the pages in the packet, incidentally, are FAFSA preparation cheat sheets from the Finance Authority of Maine. A lot of good information on there, a lot of frequently asked questions and other things that you'll need to know to prepare yourselves to start working on this. So she'll be here virtually. You have the option of participating virtually from home or coming here to the BHS library where we will host the workshop. You can ask questions. The Monday event was not hugely attended, but it was successful in terms of like people getting their questions answered. And Nikki's happy to help us out with that. So I think it's a good idea to check that out if you haven't been through this process before. It may answer a lot of questions, alleviate some concerns of yours. Again, it is a registration in advance event. You may register tonight before you leave here by letting Mrs. Lozier know that you'd like to participate in that November 9th event. So you can sign up before you walk out of the room tonight. Otherwise, if you're still thinking it over, you can call or email Mrs. Lozier at the guidance office anytime in the next month in order to secure a spot, okay? And please do indicate at the time if you expect to participate virtually or if you're going to participate by coming here in person to the library. Do bring a laptop with you, okay? That is a critical piece of this. There's also this list of suggested pieces of information that you have. Okay. Last thing I'll say before I turn it over is if that date does not work for you, the organization that's doing it for us, FAME, they have probably a dozen other virtual FAFSA workshops that go out statewide that you can sign up to participate in through their website. So if the 9th of November isn't good for you, you can still get the same service really from the same professional person by signing up for one of their workshops, okay? And of course, in the guidance office, we're always happy to help you to the best of our knowledge and ability with answers to these questions, okay? Thank you for your attention. I'm going to turn it over now to Katie Hunter, science teacher extraordinaire and senior class advisor.
Thank you. Hi. So I want to make sure that you guys all know how to access the senior, what's happening senior activity wise, senior trip wise, if your students want to go on the senior trip, how to get there. So primarily we communicate through a Facebook page or group. It's called Bucksport High School Class of 2022. Many of the students have already signed up and more parents have signed up. But if you are interested in learning about senior events, how to earn senior points, I also repost things from the guidance department and from Spire. So in college events, I repost everything that I can. So it's a good place to look for all those. So again, that's Bucksport High School Class of 2022. If you guys want to join that Facebook group. So will say that this Friday, we have a football game, 6 o'clock. We need volunteers. You can volunteer and get senior points, so you can start showing up around 4 because it's a 6 o'clock game and stay through cleanup. But if you can't attend, but you still want to try to earn points, you can bake goods or like cookies or brownies. We also need crock pot dishes like chili or I don't know what else goes in a crock pot. Anything. And what they're doing is earning senior points so they can go on a senior trip in the spring. And so I've put out a survey for suggestions for senior trip. And so right now the next step will be actually voting on a senior trip, which will come up soon. The other thing is that we're going to be doing, you guys need to design a senior t-shirt. So if anybody is artistic and they want to submit a design, they should, I'm open to all designs right now. So that's where we're at there. The other thing is I'm also part of a group called the MELMAC, and we help run events like this. And we also incentivize events like this. So you guys are all in a raffle tonight to win a package that will include like your yearbook, your senior t-shirt, your cap and gown, your senior dues. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. But also just to kind of give you guys an incentive to go to the FAFSA night, you guys will also be entered into a raffle for completing your FAFSA. And that raffle will take place probably towards the spring at the end of the year. But by completing that form, you guys will be entered into that raffle. And it's usually something really good. Well, maybe not that. I don't think we have that much money. But we also will be sending out a survey at the end of the year so that we can help support you after you graduate, which is kind of a cool thing that we do. And when you fill out that form, you get entered into one of the really cool gift baskets that we give out. So make sure you guys are checking your emails because these things are in your email. Okay, so make sure you guys are checking your email on a daily basis. All right, any questions? Anything Jordan Daly is going to comment.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jordan Daly, and I am the Aspire Golden Bucks Career Coordinator. So Aspire Golden Bucks is a partnership among RSU 25, JMG, and the Melmac Education Foundation to continue advancing aspirations for students of all ages as they consider and plan for their futures. So part of my job is working with the wonderful faculty and staff at Bucksport High School to help enhance the opportunities that are there to introduce students to careers and help them kind of figure out what they might be interested in during their post-secondary journey. So please feel free to reach out to me. If there is any career that you are interested in learning more about, please just shoot me an email. It is jordan.daly, that's D-A-L-E-Y @rsu25.org. And I would love to help you find some resources about what you're interested in. Now, Mrs. Hunter had mentioned that you're going to get a survey. It's really, really important that you put accurate information in that survey for how we can reach you after you graduate, because another thing that I do is I'll text or email you, whichever one you prefer, after graduation and every now and then after that, just to kind of check in and see if there's anything we can help you with, if you have any questions. The other day, I sent out a reminder to everyone that the FAFSA had opened up. So even just little things like that, just to make sure that you're on track. So please reach out with anything that you might need and check your email. I know Mrs. Hunter just said that too. I'm going to say it 1,000 times this year. You're going to hear me say it a lot. Please check your email. We give out prizes all the time in your email. We give out super important information. So it really, really matters that you take a look at that. You're also all going to have like jobs and classes and everything that require you to look at your email. So it's better to get into that habit now. But thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to all of those emails I'll have tomorrow morning. So thank you.
I'm Jen Tarian. Glad to see you all tonight. I am the communications coordinator for the Aspire Golden Bucks, and work closely with Jordan, looking for opportunities to share with students. And I also send out things through email, so I keep looking there. I do want to mention that in your folder, you do have this checklist where we tried to assemble everything we could come up with from all the different groups that are your deadlines. And also on the back, people have been telling you their emails and their Facebook groups. So those are here for reference on the back of this sheet. A couple other things that I want to share so that you'll recognize them when you see them. It's been a tradition at Bucksport High School when seniors are accepted into a program, they have the pennants that they get hung on the wall near the main office. So there are slips in the guidance office that'll look like something like this. If you want to, if you fill that in for us, we're asking you a little bit about what it is you think you might want to do and what helped you make that decision. If you're willing to fill that out, we share that information on our social media as a way to inspire younger students in the district who might be looking for opportunities too. So that you may see coming. Also, two other resources. One is this trifold that's in here. It directs you to our Aspire website, which you can get to through the RSU website by a couple clicks, or it's a direct Google site, but both are listed here. The important thing for you to be aware of on that site is if you want to look, if you're not sure what you're interested in, you want to do some exploration, or you're looking for scholarships or things like that. Some of those things are stored there for you to look at on your own. And so I'd encourage you to go, it's broken down by age range. So there is a section for high school and one for post-secondary. And then finally, I'll mention once a month, I put out the newsletter to highlight some of the things that have been happening in the district. In this past one in September, there is the last half page is all links and resources for upcoming activities for high school students and primarily seniors who are looking for post-secondary information. So that's also available. The newsletter is always available on our social media and on the website. And that is it for me.
So good evening, everyone. I'm Josh Tripp. I think I know you all, principal here at Bucksport High School. The first part, I am going to do my best, Sarah Lanfer, Mrs. Lanfer impersonation. She is our graduation coordinator. No matter how good of a job I do, she's going to tell me it was not good enough. So please bear with me. But her job as graduation coordinator, she basically runs everything in terms of caps and gowns, orders through Jostin, what your diploma signature is going to look like, what is the name that's going to have on there. She pretty much organizes all of that. She'll be the one that'll be handing out tickets to you at graduation when we get closer to that. So you're going to be hearing a lot of communications from her throughout the course of the year. Just a few things in this piece of paper that describes most of everything that I'm going to talk about here. One big thing is when you do your online orders for your caps and gowns and your diplomas, that is all done online. So you are going to go online. There's a website on here. You are going to put in your student's name exactly how you want to see it on the diploma. Okay. So if it is misspelled, that means you didn't type it in right into the computer. So please make sure whatever you put on there, this is what is going to show up to us. Okay. 6 months from now, and that's what's going to go in the folder. So please make sure you go on and you fill that out accurately how you want it. They really want this done by October 15th. And so you can order your cap and gown. The cost is on there. I think it's $40. You can send in cash or check, just make it out to Bucksport High School, but you're going to order your size online. Okay, so go ahead online and do all of that ordering for your cap and gown and for the diploma there. All right, they will ship all the caps and gowns here. We try to make it very simple for you. We will store them here. Mrs. Lamper will recruit some students and they will steam iron all of them so they'll be hung up so they don't have to travel back and forth. We'll have a cap decorating event towards the end of the year where students can get together. We'll provide supplies so they can personalize their caps. But that way we don't have that crisis mode on the day of graduation. Someone shows up and just like they don't have their uniform for the basketball game, they don't have their cap and gown for, or it's all wrinkled because it was in the back of their truck after marching practice or something like that. So we try to take some of those things out of play there. If you do want to order announcements, class rings, any of the things that you typically get to Johnston's, again, there's a link on there that you can go on to. You can order all of that stuff. We do collect class dues. And again, we list the different items that are purchased with those class dues. It basically works out to be $5 a year for every year you attended Bucksport High School. So if you were here for all 4 years, it's $20. If you come in just this past year, it's $5. And again, it's going to give you a CD that has a class video on it. It's going to get you a 3x5 picture of your student receiving a diploma. We do pictures beforehand, before the ceremony. Both of those are put underneath the chair at graduation night. So we will have all of that stuff for you. If for some reason money is an issue, whether it's for class dues or caps and gowns or any of that stuff, please reach out to me. We will work with you and we will make sure that all that stuff is ordered for all students so that everybody gets what they need. Okay. The last bit is just the important nights. And again, this will be here before you know it. June 10th. Seems like forever away for most of you seniors. It's going to be here way too fast. This year is going to fly by. You'll notice that class night where we hand out scholarships at 7th or 8th. And the reason that is not nailed down is we have to wait for, fortunately, we have very successful sports spring athletes here. And either the 7th or 8th is always a playoff game. So that Tuesday or Wednesday. So depending on when the playoff games are, we try to flip-flop that to make sure that no students are missing anything. So we will get that spring bulletin here in the next month or two, and then we will pin down that date and we'll send that information out. But that will be here in the gymnasium. We'll still be kind of monitoring what we're going to do with our graduation ceremony, whether that's going to be outdoors again like it was last year, or if there'll be an indoor ceremony. I will be working with the seniors, try to get their preference and kind of monitor how things are going throughout the course of the year. And again, just some information I'll back about, and you'll hear more about this about marching practice in that week of graduation. So I am sure I missed something on there that Mrs. Lamford would have covered much more eloquently than I did. She is here obviously all day long. So if they have any questions, please reach out to her. And kind of the last piece for me, my part's really pretty easy. This year, as was said early on, is stressful. If you have had a senior before, you know. If you haven't, hold on. It is a whirlwind of a year. There's a lot of stuff that happens. Students are forced into making some really their first real tough lifelong decisions of like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Even though we tell them we know it's going to change, it changed for all of us probably a half a dozen times. It's still a really big, important decision. I'd like to say there's not going to be any tears throughout the course of this process. There probably will be. There'll probably be arguments. I've seen them all. I've been there. You'll get through it. I promise. But what I do want to say is that you have an incredible cast of people up here that can support you. If you have questions, do not feel like you need to know the answer. All right, reach out to any one of us. We will find you the answer if we don't know it off the top of the head, so we'll point you in the direction of the right person. But there's a tremendous amount of support, and we just don't want you to think that you have to go through this year alone. So again, thank you for coming out tonight. And well, first, before we do the drawing, are there any questions that any of us can answer? I will say too, if in your senior meetings, if you want to come in, I'll get your question. If you want to come in to meet with your senior with one of the school counselors, by all means, you can set that up too, so you can come in and be part of that meeting.
I just wondered on the community service, are there opportunities available? Are lists about, okay.
Yes, if they come see us. We have people that are always calling us. If we don't have something, we will help find. Obviously, the last couple of years, we've been more flexible in what we've allowed for community service, just given the pandemic and some people not being able to get out into the community more so. And we haven't been able to offer as many opportunities and taking people out. So we will definitely work with students, just have them come see us and we'll come up with a plan. We prefer that they come out of those conversations with us sooner rather than later and not the week of June 10th and say, I need to make 40 hours of community service up in that last week. We've been there and done that, and it's a long week, but we don't want to be in that situation. So, Nathan. I don't know if I call it. Did you say filling out the FAFSA? Does that have any impact on like credit type stuff? Is that what you're asking?
In general.
In general. Would either of you like to take that question?
The FAFSA shouldn't, if you want to take a stab, but the FAFSA shouldn't hurt you. The FAFSA is intended to support you and help you in your, if you are a strong student and get scholarships. Is that what you're along the lines of?
For the parents.
No, it won't, not for the parents either. It really is just, and that's why they encourage everyone to do it, even if you decide not to go to college, is it's just to say, this is what you could be eligible for once you start applying for colleges. But it does not, there's no detriment to doing it in terms of like credit score. Yes. Thank you. Other questions? Right, let's give away some prizes.
Adam, did you have a question? There go my name.
I'm putting it back in. Carl. She must be online. She's online.
Well, let's see if they are here.
For a little suspense in there for.
Right.
Yeah. Must be present.
Yes. All right, congratulations, Carl.
Yay. And one more.
And one more.
Drum roll.
Nathan Palaskis.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Cool.
All right, we'll be here. Obviously, if you have any questions you want to come up and ask us, other than that, thank you for coming and have.
And please don't forget, if you want to sign up for the November 9th FAFSA workshop here at Bucksport High School, you can do that at this event.